Alright, in this video we have the meeting of two presidents. President of Russia is the Vladimir Putin, and President of France is the Emmanuel Macron. Now in this video you'll see a short interaction, a greeting, and just an excerpt of them discussing. You don't hear the voices, but you just see the gestures. Now, President Vladimir Putin does a power play in terms of greeting and handshake. What he does usually is have his hands slightly on top of the person that he's greeting. That's a power play because you come across as aggressive and you're telling the other party, hey, I'm in control. And he might usually tuck them or use his other hand to bring them slightly closer and goes into their intimate space or personal space. So when you do that, you show that you're not afraid to interact with someone. It might make the other party a little bit uncomfortable depending on their culture, their regular style of interaction, whether they are used to people coming into their personal space. But that's what he usually does as a power play, to come across as very confident, very assured, and someone who wants to take control of the interaction and conversation. So he comes across as very confident in the way he walks and the way he carries himself in terms of his posture. But let's look at his handshake. In this particular interaction and greeting, you can look at the handshake. It's just not really too much of an upward movement, so it's still side by side. When you have a neutral handshake, that's like the words, okay, it's neutral. No one has the upper hand. It's just a general greeting. But in terms of firmness, when you have a firm handshake, it shows that you're confident, you're someone to be trusted, rather than a very limp handshake where you hold the other person's fingertips. You want to have web to web. Meet the other person's web, grip for about 2 seconds and let go. But in this case, why leaders do this for a period of time is basically for photography, for the press, photos. So let's have a look. You can look at the facial expression of Emmanuel Macron, a bit tensed up. Eyes, there's a very polite smile. So when you smile politely, your smile is a little bit wide, but you don't see the douche, don't see the crow's feet, which shows real, genuine smile and happiness. Let's have a look back again. Let's rewind back. Okay, there you have a look. A bit tenseness. The eyes you don't see the crow's feet at the side of Emmanuel Macron's eyes. There's a polite smile. There is a smile. You show your teeth, polite smile. Vladimir Putin is quite firm. He doesn't really smile that often. Maybe not across the many interviews. Look at that. President Macron is looking around, feeling a bit, there's sense of uneasiness when you just wonder, when you have a guest that you just met, usually you have your eye contact locked with that person, but in this particular instance, he just looks around, trying to gauge the room, maybe looking for comfort by finding someone familiar. So looking around, hands wise, it's just general comfort gesture just in front of them. Not really comfort, but just the way in which they feel comfortable. So this is the way that they put their hands. Eyes wandering around, like, is everything good? Okay, is there someone familiar? Not very comforting. Maybe he feels a bit tensed up. Yeah, this caption shows that there's a previous meeting that causes him to feel discomfort. Looking around, look at that. The eyes, you notice eyes wandering a bit, not really focused on President Putin, where it should be, because you have a person that you're supposed to meet and greet and discuss matters. So you want to have full eye contact with that particular person, showing them respect, authority, and also just basic courtesy. When you're speaking with someone, or when someone is speaking to you, you have eye contact with them, right? And he's looking, you look at President Putin does have his eyes there, and he has very good firm eye contact, doesn't blink that much. Look at me, sir. Okay, I have something to say. That kind of look, right? No smile, but... And then he looks away. After 3 seconds. That's a good time frame. So when you look at someone, don't have eyeball to eyeball, but basically eyeball to the third eye point. Basically 3 to 5 seconds, and then you don't look straight away down, because you break contact suddenly and you come across as a bit nervous as well. So you just look at the side of the person, and then you can look somewhere else. As compared to Emmanuel Macron's greeting with President Donald Trump, where he appears a bit more carefree. There's no tenseness in his jaw. It's like more smile. You can see the muscles not as tense. Also the same handshake, web to web, neutral handshake. Thank you very much, NBC News. So there you have it. President Vladimir Putin and President Emmanuel Macron's short interaction.